You cannot give more days to life, but you can give more life to your days. I love these cards. I feel very happy that though my grandmothers are not alive, I have pieces of them everywhere that I guess support me in my day-to-day life. So lately I have been thinking a lot about childhood memories. I think because I found a bunch of old movies that I used to watch when I was maybe 6 or 7. So I have been rewatching these movies, and when I'm rewatching them, I'm remembering what I was doing last time I was watching the movie. And so it's been very fun remembering times I had not remembered since they've happened. Just little me. Yeah. I'm remembering old dreams I had. I know when I was very, very small. I want to say I was maybe 7. I remember to go to sleep at night, I would lay there and I would envision like a forest. And I would be walking through this forest with a long blue gown on, and it was like light. It wasn't fabric, it was like light. And I remember hugging the trees and walking through and just, I don't know. I just remember thinking about this to put myself to sleep when I was so young. It's fun to like remember those things. And I just find it interesting. It was probably because I was watching so many Barbie movies. I thought I was a little princess or something. When I was in kindergarten and 1st grade, actually I believe throughout my entire elementary, I had a very hard time with associating with other children. I was very uninterested. I wasn't shy, I was uninterested. I walked around the playground, and we had a playground, and beside the playground was a forest, and I would walk along the edge of the forest because we had a fence around the entire playground and this little foresty area. And I would walk through playground and sing to myself, just making up little songs or probably snippets from movies I had been watching at the time. So I didn't socialize with other children, and when I was in class, I would color or I would get up and leave the room. They had a lot of trouble with keeping me interested in school. I wasn't really interested until around 3rd or 4th grade when we started talking about things like history and science. That was more interesting to me. I feel like in kindergarten and 1st grade, a majority of it was just like learning the alphabet and the numbers and all of that. And I was more interested in the coloring and painting and doing crafts, that sort of thing. So I had a lot of trouble with making friends. I don't think I had my first friend until I was in middle school. Okay, so I'm planning on going to the library in a little bit. I just called them to see if they're open because I have to walk. And it snowed, so it's really cold, so I didn't want to make the walk if it wasn't going to be open. You know, because yesterday I did that walk, and it's kind of painful. I hate it when when the temperature changes too fast. So the library is really warm, and it was really cool outside. So when I walked in the library, I started to get really hot and sweaty and not comfortable. So I'm gonna go to the library in a little bit. I'm gonna eat first. I made some rice. I have some vegetables steaming right now. And then I am going to go and look for some poem books because the 2 that I got, no. They are not good. I do not like them. I made a mistake. I judged the books by their cover. Silly me. I'll have to go through them and judge them by, you know, the words on the pages, because these two books were not it. They were not it. I was trying to go through and read them, and it was just, no, not for me. Okay, so for some reason right now I'm obsessed with apples and oranges, and that's literally the only thing I'm eating besides, no, it's basically all I'm eating. This will be the first real meal I've had in a while. Rice, vegetables, soy sauce. Actually, I made burritos the other day, so that's not true. I made burritos and they did not turn out good, so. Oranges and apples are the only things I can rely on to be good every time. And the dogs won't hop up on the counter and take them. Win-win. Okay, so I picked up a couple poem books. This first one from the library, it's called Violet Bent Backwards Over the Grass. It's by Lana Del Rey. I was trying really hard to find poem books that had poems I actually liked in them. And this was very difficult. It was hard to find poem books. I had to go to a bookstore to find some good ones. The ones that my library has are collections of poems by years. So like it's like the best poems of, and then the year. And I was not really a big fan of a lot of the poems. I really enjoy poems about nature and love. I feel like that's it. So I'm sure there's some other stuff, but I haven't, found. But this one, I've been interested in Lana Del Rey before, but I've never watched through her interviews and stuff. Typically when I become interested in an artist, I will go through and watch their oldest things, listen to their first albums, and go through their lyrics and stuff. This is when I'm very interested. My favorite artist is Chris Cornell, so I love Soundgarden and I love Audioslave, and I like going through and listening. I've listened to almost all of his albums, I want to say almost all of his songs, and I go through and watch their old interviews and stuff like that. So I've wanted to get interested in her, but it's been difficult for me for some reason, and I thought that this would be the perfect little thing for me to read, because I listened to her albums, and I think that the lyrics to some of her songs are very poetic. I just don't feel like I can move around them, I feel like I have to sit and listen. And so reading this book, I can just sit and think. And there's actually pictures in it, this book is very beautiful. I didn't pick it up because of her name. I picked it up because the title, it sounded interesting, and the cover art, which I told you guys I wasn't going to judge a book by its cover, but here we are. It just looks, I just like it looks very interesting. Here, I'll read you. I guess I could just read the first one. It says, "Dedicated to whomever's worn, warm afternoon hands come upon these pages, wherever you may find them, and that you may remember the world is conspiring for you, and to act in a manner as such." And I will just read the first poem. Violet bent backwards over the grass. I went to a party. I came in hot, made decisions beforehand, my mind made up. Things that would make me happy, to do them or not. Each option weighed quietly. a plan for each thought. But then I walked through the door, past the open concept, and saw Violet bent backwards over the grass, 7 years old with dandelions grasped tightly in her hands, arched like a bridge in a fallen handstand, grinning wildly like a madman, with the exuberance that only doing nothing can bring, waiting for the fireworks to begin. And in that moment, I decided to do nothing about everything, forever. And then there's a little... It would be so cool to have a book like this. Like, to write a book like this. It would be so fun to put together the images that needed to go in the book and make like a... Yeah, this is something I want to do. It's a goal that I have in life, is to... I've always wanted to be, like... I've always wanted to write. My mother was obsessed with reading as I grew up. She taught me to read at an early age, and she writes beautifully. She doesn't write as much as she used to, but she writes so beautifully. The words she puts on the pages are... She knows what she's doing. And I love writing too. It would be really fun if I could publish something one day. I know in school, I don't know if you guys did stuff like this in school, but they would have like contests, and I never did any extracurricular, but when they would do these contests for the writing, I always entered. And I went to I won an award one time for my writing. I wrote like a short story, and I had to go to this beautiful building. I cannot remember the name of it. I think it was called... Let me look it up and see if I can find it. But anyways, I had to go and accept an award at this beautiful theater. It's a bit off topic, but I really, really enjoy writing. And I would like to one day put something out there. I do think it would be a poem book too, or some sort of poem thing, which people are not as interested in poems as they are in books, and people aren't, well, I guess, I don't know, the people I talk to don't really read often. I feel like you see more people reading on the internet, or reading for like, what is it? There's like, a group where people put books that they really like, and it's like more of newer books. There's this girl on YouTube, I like watching her videos. I can't remember her name, but she reads and reads and reads. I'm just running my mouth on this camera today. And you know, I had an intention when I turned it on, just to show you guys the poem books. Okay, you know what? When I'm doing the editing, I will show you guys this building. But anyways, I won an award there for my short story. I cannot find the short story that I wrote. But I know that it was very emotional because I was going through a lot of stuff with my family. So anyways, next book. This, oh my gosh. It's called Only Companion. It's Japanese Poems of Loving and Longing. The poems in this are so beautiful. Oh my gosh. And there are pictures. There are little drawings, which I love that so much. Intertwining the art with the poem. It's so beautiful. And I will read y'all. They're so beautiful. I'm not gonna read you like a sad one. I mean, I don't want to read you a sad one. There was one I read yesterday. I couldn't get over it. I love it when love and nature are intertwined. And, philosophy. Okay, this is the one I will read you. An ocean of clouds rolls in waves across the sky, carrying the moon, like a boat that disappears into a thicket of stars. Let me read you another. Okay, when I read this one, I will put my favorites. You guys will probably hear more from that book. But this last one that I got, I don't know how I feel about it. I was just trying to try something different. And it is Collected Poems by Sylvia Plath. You know, I read through a few, and these are very old poems. And they're long poems. You know, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. They're not as bad as the last book. The last book was just so not for me. Very not for me. But yeah, I will read this and then because I really do need to branch out whether or not I'm enjoying a book or not. I think it's important for me to try my best to go through, because how else am I going to, I don't know, expand my mind. Yeah. So those are the books that I got. Yeah.
What?
Ooh. That's beautiful. I should take a picture of it.